Welcome to NewMed Insiders. This episode we have a very special guest, all the way from London, is NewMed's Provost, CEO, and perhaps his most important title, NewMed's resident Instagram influencer. Please welcome Professor Christopher Baldwin.
Good afternoon, and it's very lovely to see you here today.
Thank you for joining us. Let's start with a quick check-in. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling very well. Been a good day so far. It's the last day before we go on our Christmas holidays, so it's nice to just get everything finished off for the year and then have a break before the Christmas holidays.
Are you looking forward to the holiday?
Yes, it'll be nice to relax with my family for a few weeks. We haven't really decided what we're doing, but it's nice just to relax, do some things with my children and my wife.
That's good. Okay, so in light of the current situation, what has it been like for the staff to conduct online classes?
It's been difficult. It's different. So teaching and classes for students is very different for everybody. I think our students all understand that it's very different being sitting there and doing things online, but same for staff as well. So we so say for me, I like to be in a lecture theatre. I like to be interacting with all the students. When you're talking to people, you can gauge whether they understand what you're saying. You can speed up, you can slow down, you can tell jokes and people laugh. But when you're online, it's very different. You can't get that same gauge. Some people will have their cameras on, some people will get their cameras off, but it's difficult to gauge how things are going. So it's different, and it is tough, but I think that we all try to do our best, let's say, and I think that everyone's learning, since this has happened, I think everyone's learning how better to do things and how things can work better. So I think that some of the things that we're doing are very good practice and they're developing, so maybe some of the things that we do might carry on even once all the close downs are finished. We might think that actually this is better, we can do things better this way than otherwise.
So you think online classes will continue? Will become normalised?
No. I think most of our teaching will go back to face-to-face teaching, because I think that's the thing that the students like. I think that's the thing that our staff like. I just think that some of the things that we do, we may be able to think that this actually worked better, and that might be some of the ways that we have some of the clinical sessions by having the patients in here and then actually having a video talk with the patients. I think that what we can do now, everyone uses Zoom so much, I think it's something that we've thought about a lot but never got there, is having live lectures that are in the UK and Malaysia at the same time. You could have live seminars like that now, where you can have questions where you've got UK students and the Malaysian students at the same time in the same class doing things. So I think that we now have that technology, we know it works, and I think that we just need to be a bit more innovative about how we actually do those things and how we work those things.
Okay. Before Johor was declared a COVID red zone, the university held a few person-in-person sessions. What was that like and what were the challenges? I think,
to me, they were really good, because it's lovely to have the person-in-person sessions, and I think every member of staff will say the same, and probably every student will say that you like to have that. They're a little bit different from before, because we have to have smaller classes, we obviously have to have the social distancing, people will be wearing their masks, etc. So I think that in principle they're exactly the same. You get that one-to-one interaction, you can feel the students, you can feel, if you want the audience reacting to you, you can understand what's actually happening, and you can feel what's happening. And I think really the difficulties are, it's not really difficulties, it's getting used to the rules and the regulations of the social distancing, and making sure that the one thing that we really want here on campus is to ensure that all of our staff and all of our students are safe all the time. So I think that's the matter to do. I have been out at times and seen students walking around and said, social distancing, and done that a few times, because people tend to forget, and I understand it. And it's not just students, it's staff as well. So I'll be walking along there, and people say to me, "Why are you waving at me?" I'm not waving. so I think that that's the main thing.
Okay. When will new international students be allowed on campus?
So the plan at the minute, the government plan at the minute, is that new first-year international students will start having their visas processed from the 1st of January. So that's what we understand, that's all the feedback that we've got. So it's what should happen is those students will get their visas, start being processed. The time frame is normally said to be up to 4 working weeks. Then is what they'll do, they'll have to get their flight, then they would come into Malaysia, they would have to have their 2 weeks quarantine in and around Kuala Lumpur, and then they will be transferred by NUMED down to the campus, and then they should be on campus. So everything going well, I think the chances are that we will get students, the new first year international students back or onto campus for, hopefully, I'll keep my fingers crossed, for January, for about February time. Yeah.
And when they come in, will they have to do orientation again because they don't really know?
Yeah, well, I think that obviously they've had some orientation on using the systems, using the programs, but I think that we would have to have then another series of orientation. It depends on how the students come in. So if they come in over a 3 week period, do we orientate them all together when they come in, or do we do them small groups as we come in? I think that's something we'll work out once we have confirmation that the EMGS and the Malaysian immigration will let the students in. We can then have a plan to, this is how we'll do it, this is how we work. The one advantage is NUMED's a very small campus. It doesn't take long to actually get to know where everything is and understand everything.
So let's talk about a little bit about your career. What do you like most about your career?
I think the thing I like most about my career is the difference. Well, there's 2 things. The variety of things that I do every day, and the variety of things I've done throughout my career, and also the people and the students. It's one of the things that I really like. So I started off many years ago. I was not the best of students, and I didn't pass my A-levels. So I started off as a technician at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine. I worked on African trypanosomes there, worked in the lab there, and then I worked on, and then they encouraged me to actually study part-time, which in those days was a day release, so I had to have 1 day out of work in university where I did my studies. So I did the equivalent of A-levels, that took 4 years, and then I did a degree which took 3 years, all part-time. And then I did a part-time PhD, and then I did everything part-time over the years while I worked. So I did that. But throughout that time, I've met a huge range of different people, and I have to say that the majority of people that I've ever met in academia are fantastic people. They're wonderful people. They really want to get their knowledge across. They really want to help. And then that has inspired me, I think, or hopefully over the years, from the people that's helped me and helped me develop, maybe not being the most studious of people to start with and then being encouraged to study, has then helped me maybe working with students and trying to give back to students to say that I'm here to help you, I want to help you, we want to get the best out of you, and we want to do things in the future. So there's that, and then it's the variety of things I do. So I've worked in laboratories, I've travelled around the world, I have been in meetings with all sorts of different people. So here in Malaysia with the High Commissioner, with other, with the Ministry of Health, Ministry of Higher Education. But it's a huge variety of different things that you do, and so you're never quite sure from day to day what will happen and what will be happening. So it's a really good career.
So what do you like least about it?
What do I like least? I wouldn't say that there's anything I particularly like least about it. I mean, I come in every day and I really look forward to coming in every day. So I look forward, whatever I'm doing. Sometimes I might have to have difficult meetings with people. Sometimes I might have some complicated paperwork that I have to do or something like that, but I still look forward. I get up every day and think I'm really keen to go into work. It's a career where you feel that you want to do that. So it's not that you feel you're laying in bed and I don't want to go to work again. You feel that you want to do it. There's things that you can contribute. There's things that you can go on and get on with. So I don't think there's really any particular aspect that I would say is the worst about it. I enjoy everything that I do.
That's good. Did you always want to become a lecturer, or did you have something else in mind?
To be honest, I didn't really have any idea what I wanted to do. When I was a student, when I did study for my A-levels, I had no idea. I went for a few job interviews, and then I got a job at the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, as I said, as a technician. it was a surprise. As I said, I didn't have any A levels, so I didn't really know. I really enjoyed the job as a technician. I'm doing lots of different things, working lots of different ways, lots of different things, as I said. Then I suppose I did my degree. I knew a lot of academics, and one of the academics said to me, "Why don't you do a PhD with me?" I'd never even thought about doing a PhD. And so I said, "Oh yes, why not? That's something we can do." And then time went on, and then after I got my PhD, became a postdoc, and then moved around, and then I actually moved to Newcastle from London to Newcastle, and then I wanted to be a researcher, and I really enjoyed the research, and then I moved to Northumbria University then as a lecturer, and then things have just happened as they go along. So there was no real great plan of I want to be the CEO of somewhere or of NewMed. Things just happen, and I've really enjoyed every single career step as I've gone along.
That's good. So you mentioned research, good. Right. Mm-hmm. You trained as an immunologist, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's correctly, yes.
So how do you keep up with research in your field?
Well, it's actually difficult. So yes, as you said, I'm an immunologist, and immunology is a very fast-moving field, and it's still moving all the time, and there's changes, as we know with COVID vaccines, which you can think of as part of immunology, and the way that they're now being given with mRNA, which was I used to give lectures on new vaccine technology a few years ago, and it's changed amazingly. I think that there's several ways. I do try to keep up a little bit in touch with the literature, so I obviously use Twitter, and then so I keep in touch with some of the immunology journals that way, so I pick up things like that. I have colleagues and friends who I know who are immunologists, and they will send me interesting papers and things every now and again if they see something that's interesting, and then I'll pick and then I might send back to them. I will see occasional conferences or occasional seminars where I'll go along to, and I do that because I do think it's critical that as a lecturer, and I lecture immunology, I do have to keep up to date, because some of the lectures that I'm giving would then be out of date if I didn't do that. So I need to be up to date. And then obviously my lectures, I mean some of it's very basic immunology which won't change, but some of my lectures to the biomedical students, there may be changes in how people understand the disease pathogenesis or something like that. So I will read around my lectures and deliver those. So really it's a matter of keeping up as much as I can, although it's obviously not as much as when I was actually working in the lab every day. So that's what we do.
Do you miss working in the lab every day?
I loved working in the lab every day. It was one of my favourite things, going in the lab, not necessarily knowing what was going to happen. Once again, you don't know what's going to happen. You're doing some experiments. It's all brand new. You don't know what they are. You have your hypothesis. I love working in the lab. And to be honest, it was when I moved from working in a lab to becoming much more on the administrative side. It was a difficult jump, and you had to make a decision that that's what you wanted to do, because once you move that way, it's very difficult to move back again. So it was a big jump, and I miss working in the lab, but I think probably if I went in the lab now, any of the younger staff who were in the lab would tell me off and say, "Go away, we don't want you in here."
Oh no.
so oh no, he's not coming in here. So it's different now. I've changed. I do miss it. It was something that I had great fun doing when I was younger, but now I think hopefully I'm good, or I work at what I do, and I do that, and I enjoy that, even though maybe when I was younger I would have hated sitting in meetings all day or writing great big reports or things like that, but that's what I do now, and I enjoy that as well.
Okay, so what was your fondest memory from university?
My fondest memory from university, probably because I only did day release, so I never really did. So I only went 1 day a week over a period of time. So it's a very different. And actually, probably the fondest thing that I remember, and it's actually more about work, but related to my day release, as I said. And this sort of gives you an idea of how nice people are. I was working full time. I was allowed 1 day off a week, and it was coming up to my exam period. And so my boss at the time, she said, a lady called Veronica Kilgur, she's a very nice lady, she said to me, "Right, you can have some study time, you've got your exams, come to work, but you can study," etc. So I was doing that. So I was meant to be studying, and so I must have. I think I'd been out and I'd gone to lunch. And in those days, in Britain anyway, you went and maybe had 2 pints of beer at lunchtime, which isn't very good, and I would never do that now. But had 2 pints of beer at lunch, went back to the library, and I obviously sat in the library in a nice chair, and it was very warm. and I fell fast asleep. And then I woke up after about an hour, and there was this little sticky note on the table in front of me, and it just said, "I thought you were meant to be revising the." But it just shows. But I wasn't told off. It wasn't anything like that, and it just shows the nice attitude of people and how good people are.
That's an interesting story. That really is an interesting story. What do you like best about teaching in NUMED?
The thing about NUMED is, it's the students again, and the big advantage of NUMED is that it's small. You can get to know a lot of the students, you can get to know all of your class. When teaching the biomedical class, or the foundation class, it's very small. Even the medical class, usually you've only got 100. So you get to know all of your students, you get to know all of the staff as well. And walking around the campus, seeing people, you can get to know people. So that's what I like the best, is the personal communications, getting to know people, getting to understand them a little bit. And the other advantage there is if you know someone who's normally happily and bubbly and friendly, and then for whatever reason then they're quiet, you can then go and have a quiet word with them and say, "Are you okay? Is everything all right?" And you can actually do that. I think when I was in the UK and I was in charge of the school there was 400 students a year, and I have to say the difference was is you tended to get to know the really, really good ones or the really, really naughty ones, and you didn't get to know everybody else. So here you can tend to get to know everyone, and that's a really good thing, and that's what I really like about NUMED.
Okay. What's one thing you wish you knew at 19 years old?
I think is what I'd say is that you don't have to please everyone. You have your friends. You live with your friends, and your friends are your friends. Sometimes when you're younger, you feel that you have to do things to please people, or to, not to show off, but you have to do things because that's expected of you. And to be quite honest, if you're doing something that's not good for you or not right for you, that's not good. But also, if people are criticising you, you change and you do something, they'll just criticise you for something else. So they're not going to do it. So I think sometimes it is to not take things to heart so much, and be with your friends, trust your friends, and don't try to do things for other people so much, and don't take that criticism of other people all the time. So that's, but I think that's something that happens with everyone. As you get older, you realise that you can't please everyone all the time. You just have to get on.
That's true. Mm-hmm. Good advice, then. What's one thing you miss about living in the UK?
I guess the thing I would say is, and you can never get it in Malaysia, it's difficult to describe, is in the winter or in the autumn months, you will have a really bright sunny day. So 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock in the morning, it will be really, really bright, really, really sunny, but it will be freezing cold, so it'll be 0, and there'll be frost on the ground. And so there'll be frost on the ground. All of the grass will be shiny with the frost, and you'll have the spider webs all shiny because you've got the frost on and the ice on them and everything like that. And it's really lovely when you get up in the morning. I used to walk to work every morning, and you just have this really cold, bracing day. There's no wind, it's just completely, just very cold, very still, and there's this ice, and you all wrap up nice and warm, and your nose goes all red because it's got a bit cold, but it's just a really nice to go out and walk in that, and it's probably the one thing that I can never get in Malaysia, but you get in the UK. It's very, you will never get that. So it's just that experience, and you walk along and you can hear the crack of the ice under your feet and things like that. So that's what I miss.
So basically, you miss the British weather.
No, I don't miss the British weather. I love the weather in Malaysia and the warm and everything like that in here in Malaysia, and I like that. But it's just that one particular time of year when it's just very special in the UK that you cannot get here.
So why do you love Johor so much?
I love Malaysia. It's not just Johor. I mean, I live in Johor. Johor is a fantastic place to be. But as with everything, I think I talked about the people here at NUMED, students. But it's the people. The people in Johor are wonderful people. I live on the other side of Johor. I live in a place called Permasjaya. I've lived there now for 5 years. I've lived on the estate that I have, and we've got to know lots of the people on the estate really, really well. So people will invite you to their house, people will invite you for drinks, they'll invite you for meals. My wife's got to know another group of people who she goes Zumba dancing with, and a range of different things. So she goes out to cafes a lot, things with them as well. But I think it's the people. The people are really friendly. They're really kind. They really want to bring you in. They really want to show you Malaysian culture. They really want you to be happy here. And so I really, really think that it's the people. I think second on that list would be the weather. And I know that I did say I like cold weather, but I'd also I do like the warm weather. My wife loves the warm weather. I like the warm weather. To be here is really, really great. And then finally, something that I obviously partake slightly too much of is the food. Food in Malaysia is wonderful. Malaysian food is excellent, but then you can also get any other cuisine you want in the world within where I live. Within 10 minutes, 15 minutes of my house, I can get practically anything. So I think if you roll those all in together, Malaysia is a wonderful country. Johor is a wonderful state to live in, and actually I would advise anyone, whether they're if they're UK students who get a chance to come here, or other staff who might have a chance to come here in the future, come here and get an understanding of Malaysia, the people and the culture, and it's just a great place to be.
So do you have a favourite state in Malaysia?
Johor. No. I've travelled all over Malaysia, and I've been throughout the country, and everywhere's different. So Sabah and Sarawak are very different from Pahang or Langkawi or wherever, and Johor. So I don't think I really have a favourite state. The whole country is really, really good, but I think it's because the way that people welcome you, the way that people treat you throughout the country is the same. So I would not say any better, except I have to say Johor because we live in Johor.
Okay then. And finally, how would you describe yourself in 3 words?
I'm not very good at just using 3 words, so I would say, and I think people know that. So I think I would say. Firstly, that I'm a positive person. I like to. I'm a half glass full, as people say, or I'm a glass full person. I like to look at the positive side of things. Whatever's happening, whether there be challenges, what's ever happening, I like to look at that positively and take that forward and try to do that in everything that I do. I think that I am hopefully approachable, and I'm friendly, so people can come and talk to me. I know that people get shy. They think, "Oh, he's the CEO. I can't go and see him." But I think that if people want to come and see me, please come and see me. Please come and talk to me. I am approachable. Hopefully, staff and colleagues will, but also students, come and see me. I am always happy to see you. I'm always happy to talk about things. If you've got problems, if you've got worries, come along and see me, and I'm very happy to talk to you.
Can I just say, he has a competition going on. If you take the best selfie with him, he will give you 100 ringgit in cash.
This is this year, so this is this year the competition, not the academic year, not calendar year, because so far no one has entered the competition yet. So yes, please come along, best selfie with me. I will judge it at the end, probably about May time, and I will judge it, and I will post on all of my social media feeds the best thing. And then finally, my last word, if we're going along, is caring, and I think. I hope that that's what I am, and I want the best for all of our students here. I want the best for all of my colleagues and all of the staff here. I want them to develop, go on to do better things and to succeed in their careers and everything like that. So hopefully people will see that I want the best for everyone, and that's the best that I can do, I hope.
So approachable, caring,
friendly. Was that? I can't remember now.
Oh no.
Positive,
approachable and caring. Right, on that note, we have come to the end of this episode. Thank you so much, Prof. Chris, for your time.
Most welcome.
I really enjoyed talking to you. Hopefully we can do this again.
Yes, well, we can see, we can have another one. Think of another subject to discuss. Immunology, we can have.
Okay, yeah, why not?
Okay, thank you very much.